Films and music have been synonymous with each other since the beginning of the film industry. The importance of composed scores have given films their so-called chef's kiss in a lot of ways, and sometimes it's almost a deciding factor of what makes a film great. The ability to enhance emotion, increase tension, giving the narrative an enriched feeling, and some of the many things that make scores so important. And what's also important is we go back to our roots tonight to discuss our top five movie scores. This is a production with no score, and you are listening to Just Four Flicks. What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Patty B. Um, Very excited for tonight. We're going back to our roots like we used to, doing our top fives. And with doing my top fives, we're doing top five movie scores. And who's doing it with me? None other than Mr. B-Dawg, Mr. Brandon. What's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
Well, I'm not doing it with you, but I'm joining in the process.
Doing it with me.
But we couldn't do this without a guest of ours and a good friend of the podcast. John and I have actually done this in the past. So I'm glad to have brought John's Comics with Kids back on, or John's Comics with Friends now.
Rebranding is hard, Brandon. You know, it's not easy.
Trust me, I totally understand now.
And hey, in my eyes, they're still kids. Let's be fair.
Absolutely. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing great. And yeah, you and I have talked about movies and scores and the value that they add a bunch. But I think this is our first time actually hacking into what that list might look like. So I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to go.
Yeah, because you and I, we've done lists for comic book movies, but that's only particular to comic book films.
Right.
This time it's actually our overall scores that we enjoy. And fans, if you guys don't know our format of how we do top fives, guests will go first. They'll release their number five pick, talk about it a little bit. It'll go to Patty B next, and it'll go to myself, and we'll just circle back until we go all the way, get up to number one. So without further ado, John, take us away. What's your number five?
Yeah, well, I wanted to touch base a little bit on the strategy here because I told you before we went live that I was like really hard on myself. It would be easy to make a top five list that's just John Williams. Like John Williams is a boss. So I tried really hard to like just narrow down and only allow a single movie for each composer that I really love. So that became a very interesting process. I also, really just kind of narrowed it in to look at not just like one single piece of music that I loved in the score, but like a score that had a lot going on, that had several different pieces that were all throughout the film really quality. So hopefully I succeeded when I narrowed this down to five. and before you went live, you actually made a comment about my number five, which is Fellowship of the Ring by Howard Shore.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is an incredible score, whether it's just the overall theme for the series, whether it's the music of Hobbiton, whether it's the sounds of the elves, whether it's the incredibly dramatic fight under the mountain or the tragic sound of Gandalf passing. Like there are so many different sequences that are all excellent because of what Howard Shore brought to it. As much as I, love like a movie like Superman or whatever, like that theme is incredible, but he's not doing what Howard Shore is doing here. Howard Shore is doing a lot more heavy lifting in this particular film, and of course across all three films. So I couldn't ignore it, even if it was just for that voice of that singer when the hobbits are all crying because Gandalf just died. It's like that. If that doesn't crush you, like I don't even know.
Well, just like I think that's a perfect scene is when, Gandalf is hanging on the ledge and he's like, "Run, you fools." And then you just hear that little mellow little instrument that's playing until you see Frodo yell. It's such a really good storytelling. I agree with you. Howard Shore in this film not only had to tell the story with this music, but it was the world playing too that he had to play with. And he did such a phenomenal job for them not to give him the Oscar for all three movies instead of just two of them. Because he got, he got Fellowship of the Ring and he got Return of the King.
Yeah.
because he did not get it for the Two Towers, which I still am a little salty about, but I get it. But no, that's a great pick. It made my honor. That was one that was hard for me to put up there without just singling out one of the films.
And I have a soft spot for Fellowship in general, but I also feel like it's the one that, for his skill, clearly each segment of the story has its own like instruments that are prevalent, its own sound, and then its own score, its own little piece, right? So when you
Right.
hear the theme for the hobbits or the theme for the elves, it's very different. And I think he does a great job of, isolating that.
Yeah, I agree 110% there. Let's go to Pat. Pat, will you put at your number 5? And what's your strategy behind your list?
Well, there wasn't, strategy. I went with what was important to me when I was a kid. That's what I stuck to. Now, there are a couple movies, that I started to realize once I became a young adult and being a full-on adult that I just fell in love with. Recent movies within the last 10 years, or even a movie that I just, came out when I was a kid and found out. Obviously, it was an adult movie, and I'm like, "Oh my god, like, this movie's amazing." Like, I love the story, and the music just makes it better, and I love, and especially, like, there's some movies on my list that are just solely, how some of them have mixed with a little bit of a couple soundtrack, bites, but it's mainly the score, and I have some of those, but there's some that are just solely scores, and I got one that I'm excited, am I picking my 5 right now, or am I picking my number 5? Right?
Yep.
Number 5, I'm going with Back to the Future from
Yeah,
Alan Silvestri. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of, for how fun of a movie this is, there's also a lot of, like, suspenseful tones to it, kind of the unknowns, and that's what I love about this, like, the whole scene with Doc Brown at the mall, like, that whole sequence, and just the main the dun 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 dun. I'm sorry, I'm just yeah. Anyway, I could go all day. I love that movie. I will, and it's always a rewatchable movie, and it's just like when I hear the music, I go back to my youth when I watch it. You know what I mean? Like, it's always a special moment when I watch those movies. I don't really like the third one too much, but that's subjective. But
so I have something to admit. I've never seen those movies. Yeah, I
Patty,
know.
I'm sorry, I gotta go. I'm busy.
that's
I've totally forgot I'm
I
busy with something. But Patty, if you call me later,
John,
we'll hang out. We'll talk.
I've tried to get him to watch these movies for so long, and he's
Well,
just, like, not gone
well, I
around to
think
it.
I
that
think
is
this
that
is
is
a good way.
it needs to be
Go ahead, John.
rectified, Brandon. It needs to be
Yeah.
rectified.
Well,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think this is a good way that we can admit that we're doing a new format soon too, with us going over a franchise of movies and going through them each and every single one of them, and that is one we've discussed. So I'm going to keep it that way until we watch those films. So I'm watching it for the very first time. So,
Excellent.
so
I will congratulate Patty B on a very good choice, because that definitely was one that I
yes.
considered for quite a while. And that main theme gets you jacked. Like it
Oh, dude.
really amplifies the
Even
the
like,
action
the little
sequences.
chimes, like, the little mystery chimes at the beginning, like, it's like, "Oh,
Yeah. Yep.
here we go!" I'm hitting, yeah, like,
And
I don't know.
you throw the power of love in there and you got a
Oh,
soundtrack.
dude,
It's done.
don't need money, don't need fame, don't need no credit card to ride this train.
I think, I can talk from Alan Silvestri's thing or experience with movies. He does a really good job in like making you feel amped during a song. Like
Oh
he
yeah.
does Avengers, he does Endgame. Everybody was cheering during Endgame scenes. Having that music that just amplifies you more is just fantastic. And Silvestri is really good at doing that. Like he can get your feelings up. He did Forrest Gump too at points
He
that
did
are like,
Castaway, and
yeah,
Castaway is, I feel like, slept on for a
yeah.
movie that's so, like, I mean, just, not a lot of dialogue, obviously, for the most part, and the score alone, and I mean, it just makes the movie what it is, and I
Yeah, I
think
mean
that's a slept on Tom Hanks movie.
for Zemeckis, he's the same thing that Williams is for Spielberg. I think that they really speak a similar language, and it works in their movies in a big way.
Yeah, agreed. Um, So I'm going with a movie that I don't think any of you two have ever heard of. And I am going The Boy and the Beast. It is an anime film. Now, it's a very slept on one because a lot of people don't remember it being released. This is during the time frame where you heard the movie Your Name coming out. That was pretty big during the time. This is a movie that gets me in those feels really quickly. Um, it's pretty much, just to kind of sum it up a little bit, a boy just lost his mom to a sickness. His dad's gone. So his grandparents were going to take him in, and he decides to run away. Well, in the process of him running away, he comes across like this humanoid bear type person from a different world. I just had a bug in front of me. Not the point, but um, but he takes him, like, he tries to bring him in as like his pupil. But what he doesn't realize is that once this kid goes into this new world, there's two worlds, the human world and like the humanoid animal world, which is like godhood. So he's learning under this, and um, Kumatetsu is the main humanoid animal, and also Ren is the main kid. They're learning off each other. Komutetsu is learning how to be a trainer, and not only that, be a dad to him because he doesn't have anybody. And Ren is learning to look up to this guy and be able to be everything this guy wants him to be. But in the process, he's still learning everything about himself. This movie, there is a tragic ending. I'm not going to say how it ends. I'm just going to say there's a tragic ending because I think both of you guys need to watch this film. It's very slept on film. Some of the songs I really do enjoy. This is, by the way, before I forget, um, composed by Masakatsu Tagagi. This is a really good film. Some of the songs I really enjoy. There's a song where, because they're also like training in martial arts, so they're learning how to be like who's going to be the lord of this of the world and things like that kind of thing. And so there's songs where he's learning, the kid's like mirroring um Kumatetsu the whole time. So when he's doing moves, he's learning, So there's cute little songs here and there. But one of the songs that really stands out to me is called "A Sword in Your Soul." That is probably one of the best songs. It gets you in your feels quick what scene happens during this, which I know I haven't really even talked about. My strategy was, and I know John and I have talked about this before, I like movie scores that can tell a story without you having to watch the movie. You can sit there and watch a movie all day long, but when you're at work, driving, everything like that, if a score can tell you the movie without you even having to see a scene, that speaks volumes. And this is a movie that does speak volumes to me with the score and everything. There's so many scenes that happen in this. I've told Pat he needs to watch this because I know he's a big Wes Anderson fan. This is colors galore in this film. It's just a really feel good story. Um, it just really is. And the score that goes along with it tells a wonderful story. So yeah, I'm gonna go with The Boy and the Beast as my number
And
5.
what year did that come out?
2015.
Okay.
Yes. But have you ever heard the movie The Wolf Children? Okay.
No.
I'm gonna send you 2 links now, John. I'm gonna get you to watch these films. It's
I'm an anime rookie at best.
the
Same.
like
Probably below rookie if there's a tier for that.
well, I'm gonna admit right now, this is not my only anime film to make my list. There's only one more, but I had 3 animated films and 2 live actions that made my list. So I'm going to keep it as that. But let's turn it over to John to go over his number 4.
Yes, sir. And I have a number 4 that is animated. So welcome in.
Yay.
Me
and
too.
I'm a Pixar fan. You mentioned it earlier, and there's a lot of good options out there. I am a big Michael Giacchino fan, and he
Yep.
has crushed many a score over at Pixar. It was hard to pick just one. I'm going with the one I have, I think, the most fun with, and that's The Incredibles.
Yeah.
It is great. It's got this fun retro style. It gets you pumped up in the action sequences. It's got that espionage, like in the quieter scenes, that
Yep.
espionage vibe, that James Bondy kind of thing. But it's got a little bit of heart too when the family comes together at different. So that it's not just one big theme that they sort of like play over and over and over again. It's a lot of little themes, and they're playing with each character's story, and each character's got their own musical pieces, and it's just honestly, gang, that ending credit sequence hits, and you're just like you're on your feet. That music, it's amazing. So yeah, I mean, Giacchino, he's god status for Lost alone, and doing an entire television series with a live orchestra every single week. This guy's on another level. But then, of course, all of his Pixar stuff is just superb. So I'm just picking one out of what is easily an entire list all of its own.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Brandon.
Was it, have you ever watched the Collider video they did? It was like a comic book shopping video, and it was him and it was Michael Giacchino. They took shopping, and he's talking about all his music that he was doing and how he got started. And it was help from Steven Spielberg. It was for the Lost World game that they did for Jurassic Park.
Okay.
And he listened to some of his, and he was like, "We're going to do this with a live orchestra." And he goes, "Oh no!" Or what was it? They were telling me no before. And then after Steven came in, it's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, let's do this." And to hear that Giacchino, and I'm not going to say which ones made my honorables. Two of his movies made my honorables, and they're both from Pixar. But I agree with you. That jazzy tone it gives it too. I feel like it
Yeah.
just works so well with The Incredibles. It just was fun. It's energetic. Like you said, the spy scenes, the quiet scenes even work so well with that score. It's one of his best ones. It
For
truly is.
sure.
Let's go to Patty B.
Well, I'm gonna follow John in his footsteps with the whole Michael Giacchino Pixar trend, and I'm gonna go with that's why when you were about to announce yours, I was like, oh, what's he gonna say? Because if he says what I think he's gonna say, I'm gonna be hyped. No, but Incredibles is an incredible choice, by the way.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Yeah, that joke wrote itself, baby. Um, I'm gonna go with my favorite Pixar movie, and undoubtedly, not undoubtedly, but like I feel easily one of, if not the best animated movie that's been made in the last 25 years. I'm going with Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
Good one.
That's a
Uh, from the logo opening, like whenever I'm on Disney Plus and I just like click on Ratatouille to watch the whole "La," and it does like the whole accordion, because as soon as you get that, you get that French undertone, and then obviously you realize like it all adds up. Like once you see like where everything takes place, and you're like, oh my gosh, like it's so incredibly done to the type of music culturally that you hear from that side of the world. So it's just there's just so many fun sequences in this movie too, like the whole letter chase when he's jumping across the
Yes.
river. Oh my god, dude, it's just the whole motorcycle scene, running through traffic, and just everything. And this movie will stand the test of time forever, I think. I like it's I think I might get heat for this, and I don't even know, but I don't even care. I think it's better than Toy Story. I feel like if you're gonna rate Pixar, I think I rated on our
yeah.
Pixar. We did a
You put this
ranking.
as number one on your Pixar list.
Oh yeah, this movie just hit home. It hit home for me, but I don't know. Like the whole add up to the critic at the end when he realizes like it's just beautiful, man. Like they
And
did so
that's
many.
almost a silent sequence where the music is what's
Yeah.
taking you there, like the little
And dude,
musical
so,
notes.
like, it's kinda cool how they transition, it goes, like, into his eyes, and, like, you're like, "Oh my god," like, they did that. It was just incredibly beautiful, and that's just simply to put it. Um, no, this
I
yeah, I
think
could
another good
talk
song
all
that
day.
I liked with his is when I think the eye thing was another big thing to me is when they zoom in on Remy when he's trying different things for the first time.
Yeah.
So when he
Mm.
has that song that comes into play after that, like he's like all exciting, and then they try to do it with his brother, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't get it." It's like
Yeah.
it's like, but it's just those fun little tones. And again, I don't think it's a hot take for you to say it's better. I think Pixar has made so many great films over
Yeah.
the years
Yeah.
that it's hard to really everybody's resonates with one. I've heard people
I
say
was just
Monsters
gonna say,
Inc.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
everyone it hits everyone different, right? I mean, you like what you like, and I think this movie came out when I was it's weird because it was, like, turning the corner from being a kid to a teen,
mhm,
and it was, like, that last, like, big Disney movie for me as a kid. Once I started liking more mature movies, or just I
I
just
don't have time for this Ratatouille stuff.
yeah.
Give
Well,
me
no,
the rated R.
it was funny because I think it wasn't even my movie. I think my brother had it from like one of his girlfriends brought it over and they watched it one night. I don't know. Anyway, I think I stole it from him. I'm like, oh, what's this? Ratatouille. It's a Disney movie. Let's put it on. And then I watched it and I was just like, I'm like, what? This movie's awesome. Like, and I think I probably watched it a year after it came out if it's on DVD back then.
Great.
So
And I think that it highlights just how versatile Giacchino is, but then also like how many good choices there are out there if you're going to try to pick that one Pixar score that he did. Forget even all the live action scores that he's done that are absolutely incredible.
yeah.
Like he won the Oscar for one that we haven't even mentioned that might come up on somebody's later, but Ratatouille and Incredibles stand toe to toe with any of them.
Right. No, I agree with you guys. I'll go over my number 4. Now, I gave hint to these guys before I started this video that I do have a movie that was not cinematically released. But I think it won't come as a surprise to John because this did make my top 5 scores in our comic book films. I'm going with Batman Under the Red Hood. The score in this film is phenomenal. The storytelling by Christopher Drake in this, like, I have listened to that score multiple times and re-listening to it for this, it was just like I was just taken right back to the movie. It came back to me like I wanted to put a Batman movie on my list because I don't think we've ever been done wrong with a Batman score, other than maybe Batman and Robin. I know Pat will hate me for that, but I don't care. But
Whatever you
like
want to say, dude.
but like Hans Zimmer, Michael Giacchino has done a Batman film now. And even Danny Elfman has. But the
Yeah,
thing,
he did the Robert Pattinson one, right?
yeah, Michael Giacchino
Yeah.
did. Mhm.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Christopher Drake's Under the Red Hood, this is just not only a phenomenal movie that I feel people should see. It is it is just one of those scores that just sticks with you. One of the scenes that stands out to me is the choice scene. So when he gives Batman the choice to either kill Joker or kill him, and he throws that gun, that song that plays with that is so intense that you don't know what's going on. This when he's giving that whole speech, like God Almighty, no, all I've ever wanted to do was kill him. Like that music just builds up through that whole scene is just phenomenal. The Death in the Family, the first scene of the movie, is phenomenal, telling the story of Jason Todd's death to the main titles is great. The Ra's al Ghul song, even during his story, was just phenomenal. But Christopher Drake in this was just really good storytelling. It was phenomenal from beginning to end. This is one of the only DC animated films I will ever put on a list like this because I do feel it is a great story. It is like I almost put New Frontier up there, but I haven't listened to that score enough to go if I like it or not. But I could not sit here and not talk about Under the Red Hood. I do feel it needs a little nod. I do feel it needs a little love, and that to me is a movie that sticks to me with a score that can tell a story. Um, let's go to John for his number 3.
Yeah, this is the most, I guess, slightly out of pocket pick that I've got here. I don't think this would ever make anybody's list, but it just means I've always really been impressed by it. Michael Mann is known for having films with great scores, and there's a lot of
Oh,
great ones out there. But I'm going to go with The Last of the Mohicans.
Oh,
Trevor Jones and Randy Edelman, two different composers working together. If the opening theme, when you're looking at those mountains, segueing into the chase of the elk intensity of that sequence, if that doesn't just absolutely transport you to the frontier and Native Americans battling against the French and the English for the ownership of the nation, like if that stuff, it absolutely just transports you. It's amazing. And then there's a song played. One of my personal favorites is in the sequence when the fort is under attack. There's a sequence where it sounds like a song is being played up around the campfire among a bunch of the militiamen, and during it you have Hawkeye, Daniel Day-Lewis, walking around looking for Madeline Stowe's character, and it's so fantastic because you can see when he sees her even though she's not on screen. It's like the way he freezes and the way that song is playing, it's just so well executed. And then, of course, all the way through to the big tragic final battle across the waterfall. Like it's just an absolute incredible score, and it captures a time and a place in American history that I think is really impressive and transports you in a really powerful kind of way.
No, that's a great pick. I heard the pick from further distance, but I did hear the pick.
But I mean,
But
again, Michael Mann, he's got several. I mean, you could go with Collateral, you can go with Heat. Like, he's got some really great, like,
Collateral, man.
noir stuff. But something about Last of the Mohicans, it's one of the earliest soundtracks I recall buying and playing again and again. The first like 4 tracks just in a row, you can just plow through. They're so strong.
When you first said Michael Mann, I was thinking, I'm like, oh, what's he gonna say? Because I got excited. Because man, yeah, he's got a lot of good scores for his movie. Like Thief, his first
Yeah.
movie, Thief is so good. It's got like that synth, like that synth
Yeah.
rock. Like, so I'm going with a special of mine. A special
a
of mine.
special of yours?
Yeah,
What's the
this
special
is
today?
childhood favorite. Robin Williams movie.
Look. I
It's
know
real.
you enough. That is the one movie that you
No,
go.
it's my only John Williams movie that made it. For me, it's Hook. I
I knew right away when you said childhood favorite and John Williams mixed in with it and Robin Williams. I was like, it's Hook. Like, it's like dead on Hook. Like,
I think it's one of the kind of deep cuts of John Williams, just from the range that he has. I mean, obviously Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Jurassic Park. It's just everything in between.
Jaws, and
I know.
Superman.
I knew I was missing
Harry
some.
Potter,
Yeah,
and I mean
Harry. Yeah,
the guy
Harry.
did everything. He is the score.
He even did
man.
Home Alone too. Or he
Yep.
did Home Alone as well.
Well, and here's the trend you see on a lot of those, right? A lot of them are sequels. All of them are sequels. I think Hook gets kind of lost in the shuffle because it's not a sequel. It's just it's a one-off, and it's dude. I don't. That's It's one of my favorite. It's, if not my favorite, Robin Williams movie of all time. It it's probably the best Peter Pan adapted movie, I think. Like, the way that they morph it into him being an adult and then him having to go back and find who he used to be. Like, it's just incredible, dude. And there's that one oh man, I saw it the other day on TikTok and I actually got kind of like emotional by just watching it, because it's the one where at the beginning they're at Grandma Wendy's house and they're talking about him and his wife. He gets super mad at his kids, and him and his wife sit down and he's like, you need to look in the now, and you need to not be so intertwined with work, because our kids, you only have them for a special amount of time, and once they're through, you're going to be looking for time with them, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I don't know, as a
It's
father of
very
2,
real. Yeah.
very real. And it's like I said, when I saw it on TikTok, even like the caption was like, movies you see differently when you're an adult. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm like getting kind of goosebumps just thinking about it right now. But it's from beginning to end. I mean, I think life would be an incredible adventure, or an amazing adventure. That last line, and then oh, dude, it's just gets when he finds out who he is, or who he used to be, and he gets that happy thought, and he's starting to fly. Hook, Hook, and the whole Hook introduction, dude. Like, dude, I could go on and on about this movie, and there's so many great like cameos within this movie too. Uh, just, we've talked about it, Brandon. I don't know if this is a favorite of I don't know if but
I
yeah.
mean, I'm never going to be disappointed by a Spielberg John Williams duo. Like, that's never going to be something that I take off the list. I will say I agree with the deep cut comment, because for me, it's not one that I quickly rank when I'm going through my Spielbergs or my Williamses, but I love the deep cut of it.
Yeah, agreed. It's I think it's like you said, Pat. I think it gets one that gets lost in the shuffle when you really think of scores with John Williams, because of all those scores that he's composed, there's only a couple he's won Oscars for. One of them, I believe, he got for Star Wars, and the other one, I believe, he got for Schindler's List.
Yes.
Schindler's
he
List was
did.
one of his big ones. He got. So out of all
I
the
like even Harry Potter, man. I feel like Harry Potter should have
he
got an
only
Oscar.
did, what was it? He only scored the first couple of them. He didn't score all of them. I didn't think he scored
Still,
all of them.
the
Yeah,
first one's amazing.
the first one. Pat's like, that's all I got into it. No, I'm just messing.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I mean, even Chamber of Secrets is great too.
Yeah. Now, I did warn you guys there is another animated film on my list, and this will be my
I feel
third
like your
animated
list is full of
film.
warnings, Brandon.
Well,
There's a lot
well,
of warnings
A lot
with
of
your list.
disclaimers and a lot of like
Well,
viewer
let's put it
discretion
this
is
way.
advised.
I'm going to
Like,
see if Pat remembers this. Now, this was an anime film we have covered. And there was one particular movie that I did state, if it wasn't for the score, I probably wouldn't have it up anywhere in my top 5 Ghibli films of all time.
why are you making me think this hard?
There's only two Ghibli films we covered, buddy.
Okay, well, that narrows it down. I'm gonna go ahead and. Oh yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead with Spirited Away then,
It is Spirit.
because I know it ain't. I know it ain't the broomstick.
No, it's not Kiki's Delivery Service. It is Spirited Away. This movie, I've always stated this since I was a kid till now. If it wasn't for that music in the background telling that story and keeping that world driven by the music, this movie would not be good to me. Like, the animation in this is stunning, very revolutionary. But that music is what tells that movie. Like, the first song I think of is One Summer Day. It's the drive scene in the beginning of the movie. Every time I hear that piano play, it is just so well done in just having that. And then it kind of shifts to a, like, kind of an upbeaty song when they're getting ready to go into this new world. Yeah, through the whole story. And we've always talked about this, that the main character of this story, it is about her learning to grow up and being more confident in herself, and now learning that she has to be an adult in some ways, or she's growing up. Now she has to face reality a little bit. That music tells a great story of her doing that. There's sad moments, there is high moments, there is, like, that ending scene too gets me a lot when she goes, I think I can do that. When her dad's like, you got to be strong going to this new school. I think I can do that. And there's just the score that goes with it. It's just so beautifully well done. Now, this is the main guy who does a lot of Ghibli films, Joe Hisaishi. This guy does a lot of ones. I believe he did Princess Mononoke. He did quite a bit of films for Ghibli. And this guy just did a really good, like, mind you, the story, like we said, is stunning by the animation alone, and it tells a great story. But that music just goes so well with the world creation and everything like that he does. It just tells a beautifully well done story. I know I sound like a broken record there, but it just shows you how well done this score truly is. So this is my last animated or anime film on my list. The 2 movies are live action.
There's no rules here, Brandon.
Yeah, I know,
you
I
speak
know.
your truth, buddy. You speak your truth.
Jeez, I want to see what your
We're
next
counting
2
honorable
are, man.
mentions. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm just messing.
A
There's
lot more warnings to come.
And he's like, I kept all of my live action in my honorable mentions.
No, I have 2 as my 2 and 1 that are my live action films. But Spirited Away is just a great film. Ghibli never disappoints with its scores. I wish it would get a little bit more love when it comes to the scores Oscar nomination, because there are some really good stories told through that. But I get it. There are that many more scores that it can outdo it as well. And that's why I said it's just a good film. Spirited Away is my number 3. So let's turn over to John for his number 2.
Well, I'm going to probably go with the oldest composer, the oldest score on the list here today, because I tend to do that as a film nerd. And the combination of Spielberg and Williams is great, but I feel like it's second by some level to Alfred Hitchcock and Bernard Herrmann.
Yes.
And these two, again, you could pick any one and probably hit a home run depending on how your mood is that day. Maybe you're in that, that Psycho place, or the Birds or whatever. I'm going North by Northwest.
Yeah, it's
just because I feel like that score has a range that the other ones don't, and it also has like a little bit of Cary Grant's playfulness. Like there's a little bit of fun to it and a little bit of like frivolity, but when it's going and those strings are like hitting those high notes, that whole opening song, like the whole opening credits sequence, is fantastic. Right up to Hitchcock being unable to get onto the bus. Like, it's really great opening bit. And then it continues to kind of be this playful thing all the way through. And then there's the softer notes in the love story sequences. And I think it balances itself out with the sequences that are silent, where it's just, him standing by the side of the road and you're waiting for the airplane to come, and then the music hits back again. It's an incredibly strong and versatile score. But it was hard to pick just one Bernard Herrmann Hitchcock score, because they're all really great. And I get the Psycho fans. I get it. Like, Psycho is a great, great score. But that movie for me is second tier Hitchcock for me. I prefer his other movies more. And North by Northwest, it gets my vote.
So let me ask you this, John. Does Birds go over Psycho for you?
I mean, I think I like the diversity of the Birds score more, but I think that theme, it's hard to beat what those strings are doing in the shower scene is strong. It's so good. It's hard to beat that the use of that like one note like on repeat and how hard it hits.
Yeah.
But I mean, Vertigo ranks very high, although I don't think that one's Bernard Herrmann. It's really great as well, and I considered Vertigo.
I'm one of the fanboys for Psycho, but I can't deny North by Northwest. I think North by Northwest score is phenomenal. And
I listened to all of them this week. I jumped because Vertigo is probably my favorite. It's like right there, but it's just North by Northwest is just more fun. It's just a more fun score versus like Vertigo is so dour. Like, I was listening to it after a while. I was like, this is getting depressing. Like, I'm in a bad place. Wild. Yeah, it's
even,
a wild.
Well, even like I'm one of my favorite Hitchcock movie, and me and Brandon have talked about it. I'm a big Rear Window fan.
Oh, that's my favorite film. But as far as score, I was just saying the other ones. Yeah, Rear Window is his masterpiece. For sure.
I don't think the score in Rear Window is as good as his other movies, but
no. But it doesn't have to be, because that movie is so freaking good.
Yeah, that movie's great.
Until Hollywood ruined it.
And that set is at the time.
Grace Kelly.
Oh, yeah. And at the time, the most expensive set ever made for a movie. That set was incredibly complicated and expensive. It was an entire soundstage, and it had to be like so tall, and they had to be able to light the entire thing simultaneously, basically, to shoot anything.
Oh, gosh.
It's crazy.
I heard a side note about the Rear Window movie. I was talking to my grandma about it after we talked about it, Pat. And she said it was so weird because how she watched it was through her neighbor's window. It was just on one night. So she said she was looking out through the rear window.
Living the full experience.
Like, I'm watching through the rear window now.
Did she have a broken leg?
No. Not that cool. But Pat, let's go over to you. What is your number 2?
Man, so this one's weird because I actually flopped it with my number 1, and this might be controversial on the once everything is said and done, but no, this one is powerful. This one might be a lot, or this one might be a big one for a lot of people nowadays, like the younger generation now. I mean, it's used. I see it all over social media being used for videos all the time. A very powerful movie, very tragic movie. I'm going with Interstellar from Hans Zimmer, the only Hans Zimmer one to make it for me. The cornfield chase, chef's kiss, dude. And what I mean by tragic is just like the whole, him not getting to see his kids again, basically. And then by the ending, it's like, dude, his Murph is double the age of him,
Oh,
or if not more. And it's just nuts. That whole movie is just such a time warp, literally. Um, the whole, imperfect lock sequence, that whole, they're like, "What are you doing? You're wasting all this film." He's like, they're like, "It's not possible." No, it's necessary. Such a savage line in that movie, man. Like, I just, uh,
And a movie that requires a strong score.
this movie alone is just,
But
if it,
I know plenty of people that listen to Interstellar when they're trying to get
oh
creative
yeah.
and to focus on stuff, that music, it pushes them in a way
Mhm.
that really gets them psyched up,
It's definitely a score, like, if I listen to it, I know like, with the music that's going on, I know exactly where we are in the movie.
Sure.
Like, when it's playing, I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is what's going on." Um, yeah, no, it's just that whole part where they find out that Matt Damon's marooning him. Oh my god, dude, and then, like I said, it leads up to the whole imperfect lock scene
Yeah.
effing everything up. Dude, just that movie's so rewatchable to me. Um, might be a little drawn out. I usually sometimes, uh, it's like one of those where I'll watch the first 40 minutes sometime, or, getting up to the space parts, but then sometimes I'll just like, "No, I wanna get to the space parts, get to where we're getting the good going,"
Right.
just me, I don't know, but not saying anything's bad from it. If you haven't ever seen if no one's ever watched the movie, watch it, watch the whole thing in its entirety. It's a beautiful movie. Um, yeah, I think it's Nolan's masterpiece, in my opinion. I don't, as far as just everything going down within the movie, Oppenheimer was great. Don't get me wrong. Inception's great. I just think that Interstellar is, and Matthew McConaughey. Like, who would have thought that everything you get out of Matthew McConaughey is what you were gonna get from it,
Right.
or what you got in that movie from him. Like, you're like, holy, like, I think he had Dallas Buyers Club and this back to back years. I mean, he won
It's
the Oscar for
crazy.
Dallas Buyers Club, so
Yep. It was part of the reconnaissance.
that's right. Yeah, I knew there was a name for it. Yeah, the
Yeah, I mean
McConaissance.
that scene alone when he's catching up on all the videos from his family is just like
Oh, dude, heart-wrenching.
that's just top tier. And then again, the music going along with it, really, really strong.
so since we're on the topic of Hans Zimmer, I did not have Hans Zimmer on my list, but I did take one of his proteges, one of his scores. Now, this movie I have talked about when we've talked about war films and our top 10 movies on an island. This is a great film overall. It is one of my favorite war movies overall. It is Hacksaw Ridge, by Rupert Gregson Williams. I do really enjoy seeing the story. This is another score, yet again. If I listened to the score, I knew exactly what scene we're at. It is such a really good story. One of the scenes that always sticks out to me with the music is when he's going back and saving a whole bunch of people one man at a time. Give me one more, give me one more. And having that score that goes behind that is so beautiful. It is just that it's heroic, but it's like it keeps on motivating him. The praying song after or at the end of the movie, phenomenal. The having the song even when him and his wife were going, or him and his girlfriend at the time were going out in the woods and stuff. Again, another chef's kiss. That all these songs in this movie, it is like I always feel like this. The movie was supposed to be more gut wrenching. The movie was meant to be more the experience. The music was what's giving it that emotional turn it needed. And that's what made this movie so well done for me. Like this movie, I was more driven by the music than I was driven by the movie. And having that song, all the songs playing, I play this on repeat at points when I'm editing and stuff like that. It is just every time I listen to it, then I'm like, I want to go watch the movie again. Like it's just that good. It's a good draw. It's a good score. This is one of my favorite Rupert Gregson Williams films, period. Or like it's the only Mel Gibson directed film I will probably watch on repeat. But it's just, and this is one of my favorite Andrew Garfield films of all time. It's just a really good
He is
story.
stellar in the movie for sure. And
Him as
I'm
Derek.
I'm a
Okay.
Gibson fan still. Like I grew up with Gibson, so there's a ton of his
Yeah.
movies that have left marks on me. And Braveheart could have easily had a score on this list. It's so fantastic.
Yeah.
So, but this is the better like hidden gem pick, I think, for his movies.
Like, it's not a movie that you would think of the score being so great, and it is. And having that with just all the mixture of the scenes, everything, even like the flashback scenes with his dad, I always like those scenes because it's just that score gives it that intense feeling it needed when it was supposed to be more of an emotional scene. So when it was supposed to be an emotional scene, the music got intense, but when it's an intense scene, the music got more emotional. So it was just a great mixture of storytelling that it just did it is that's why it's number 2 on my list. It almost made my number 1. My number 1 and number 2 were switching back and forth a lot. But my number 1, we'll get into it soon, is something that's very dear and near to my heart. And so, but let's go into our honorable mentions. So, John, let's go over yours. What were some of the honorables you had on your list?
I mean, a long time this list had two movies that it got bumped as I went along, and I gotta mention these two, and they're classics. Obviously, Lawrence of Arabia, Maurice Jarre crushed it. I mean it is like the quintessential epic sound. You know,
Oh,
that score is the desert. That is what the desert sounds like if you were going
uh,
to write
that
music
is what
for it.
desert
You
sounds.
know, you can
That's a
almost hear the camels like going across the desert just in the music. It is so sweeping.
what a great
Um,
line that was, John. That was perfect. That is what the desert sounds like.
he just captures it, man. I can't hear you hear two or three notes from that and you're like transported, right? You're right there.
Yeah.
It is, and of course it's got all the military march kind of themes and you know all of that stuff underlying it. It's very British, but it's incredibly captivating. I'm also a film noir nerd, so I can't skip Chinatown and what Jerry Goldsmith did there. You just hear some of that like trumpet, and it feels like you're transported to some kind of LA in a certain era that he also did the music for LA Confidential. Again, it has that like same kind of like detective vibe so perfectly with just a few notes from a trumpet. You get this like, okay, he's about to have a drink and some gorgeous woman's going to walk through his door and cause him trouble. Like it feels perfect for that noir universe. Um, and then there's a couple emotional ones that hit me hard. Obviously, Field of Dreams,
Oh,
it crushes. Like the music for the throwing the ball with his dad at the end slays. Like it is so strong. Like you can just hear a few notes from that, and you're just like, oh, wow, that is amazing. However, for me, it's a movie that needs all the songs, the actual like soundtrack music that it has to really work because it's about the '60s and about that time in history. So like you know, the score plays a backseat maybe to some of the songs that they pull, but when that song hits at the end, it hits hard. And then the last one I'll mention is Shawshank.
yeah.
Gang, yeah, I mean, come on. There's so many different sequences when you first fly over the prison and there's that slow string section just kind of like belaboring the like time is slowing down here, get used to it. And then the rise when he climbs out of the sewer into the river and the rain is pouring. It's just, man, it's cinema, man. It's pure cinema as the it's just absolutely phenomenal. So those are some of my honorable mentions.
The scene that I like in Shawshank, because that was one of my honorables as well. That was a hard one for me to knock
Ugh.
off. But the scene where he's in the courtroom is
Yeah.
probably one of the songs that hits me because it's so tense. And like when he has that one word response, what was your wife's calm? Like it was just like boom, and then just like in that music intensifies the answer, and it's just like, oh, okay. Now we're getting somewhere now, and it's just a really good storytelling item in that movie. And mind you, I don't think you need anything extra with Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman being your two leads, leading that movie. But that score just makes it so well done.
Yeah, I think Shawshank made all three of our honorable mentions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
such a
was it's when you said Lawrence of Arabia, man, that was on my list too. I was like, that's
Yay.
why. Oh man, that was good. Great movie.
I think it would be my number 6, that one.
yeah.
Chinatown, it's 6 and 7. They were fighting. Chinatown and Arabia were fighting for it.
That's what the desert sounds.
Chinatown has a great score. Like, I'll even admit that part. It's a
And
great
it's still yeah, the opening sequence is just letter cards, like title cards for a big chunk,
Mhm.
and it's just that music playing over it. It's fantastic. Yeah. And then there's the bits when he's like tailing people in the night, and you just hear the like it picks up pace a little bit. It's so good.
So, Patty B, you said you had Lawrence of Arabia, and you
Yeah,
also had
so I mean, I got probably about 10, and I'm just gonna fire them off real
God,
quick. Yeah, Lawrence
darn.
of Arabia, Shawshank Redemption, we just talked about. The Godfather had in there, The Goonies,
Yeah, I
Indiana
knew.
Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I threw a Tarantino one in there, had to. Inglourious Bastards, fantastic, fantastic score.
Yeah,
Don't say it
it is.
isn't.
I'm
And
not
then,
saying it isn't. It's
and then when
just
you throw in that David Bowie, put out fire with gasoline scene, bro. We're meaning business now. I also got to say it's one of Brandon's favorite movies of all time. I'm going with the James Cameron classic, Titanic.
God, no.
I'm
Don't
glad your
put me
heart will go
How are you
on.
going to deny that it's not a great score? How are you
Right.
going to
I'm
deny
not denying that's probably one of the only good things about that movie. I just don't care for the movie. It's not. I'm
Well,
not denying. I don't want fans to come at me saying it's not. I don't think it's a great movie. It's a good movie,
another
but
an-
it's not one I have to sit there and watch all over.
Leave your angry comments on the podcast so that at least they get a monetization for it.
another favorite movie of yours that I know you like is Pearl Harbor. I think Pearl Harbor score is fantastic.
Oh, the score for that is
Um,
phenomenal. The historical factors in it, other than the Pearl Harbor scene, is not that great.
Yeah. I got four more and I'll drop it there. Up. We talked about Michael Giacchino.
And that's
Yeah.
the one he won the Oscar for. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Uncut Gems
Oh
is
yeah.
an uncut gem.
Is it no pun intended there either?
And then I got two Once Upon a Time movies. I got Once Upon a Time in the West, and I got
Oh,
Once
yeah.
Upon a Time in America.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good too.
And
That's what I got for that. But yeah, I had about 10
and
that I really
that's great. There's one that I forgot that you brought to my mind right now that I eliminated quickly because it's really just one like 3-minute clip that they play like over and over again all through the movie. But Requiem for a Dream has this like phenomenal 3 minutes. They even used it in the Two Towers trailer when that movie came out. It's been used in a lot of trailers since then. But I eliminated it just because the score for me didn't have range. But it's hard not to listen to that and get completely pulled in. That's a great one. It reminded me, Uncut Gems reminded me of it. I was like,
oh yeah. Yeah, no, Uncut Gems, dude. Like that one, I remember when I saw it in theaters, because that was a movie like when the ending happened and everything. I was like, that was a movie that like it messed me up for like 3 days. Like I kept thinking about it. Like I was like, what? He just won that big ass bet, and then what? Like I'm not spoiling anything, but holy shit, that's a great movie. And I think Adam Sandler should win an Oscar for it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Oscar snubbed him on
If
that.
it wasn't Punch Drunk Love, then it should have been this.
Yeah. Oh, this should have been an Oscar.
No Love for Little Nicky. I mean, come on.
Oh, dude.
God, no.
Getting the flask. Yeah. I got hit by my brother Lucius with a shovel. Dude, I love that movie. Peppermint schnapps and pizza. Dude, and then the cameo from Quentin Tarantino. You are all gonna die.
Yeah, that made me laugh so hard,
bro.
I love it.
That I watched that movie the other day and I was like, man, I remember how bad this movie is, but it's that bad and it's good. Kind of thing.
Dude, I feel like that's a slept on movie, man.
I would never put that in a top 5 Adam Sandler film.
The Waterboy, Big Daddy, I think that, and then right after that he had Mr. Deeds. Like all within like a 4-year jam right there.
You mentioned Happy Gilmore too, right? I didn't know if I heard.
Well, Happy Gilmore was before that. That was like 96. I think I'm talking like from 99 to like 2002, he had like 4 absolute bangers.
Yeah.
But I think out of those 4, Little Nicky is kind of like like the last one you think about.
It's the strangest one for sure. It's the
oddest one. It is. But dude, the cast, like Rodney Dangerfield's last movie, I think he was in before he died.
So I can't talk a lot because I do have 10 as well, but I'm gonna rifle them off quick. Two of them already been addressed. Shawshank and Up was one of them. Up was one of them that was at 6, but I kind of felt like with the story, most of that story, most of the songs he has is with that first song, that little mellow tone. Mike Giacchino, granted, Giacchino deserved that Oscar. I don't care if anybody wants to come at me at the comments because I know there have been people who like, oh, he should have won it for that one. It's like he should have. That song, that whole score was phenomenal. But I couldn't put it up there. I wanted to challenge myself with that one. The other Giacchino one I had on here was Inside Out. This score from Giacchino was just so phenomenal. It's very emotional. It is very it just from that first the piano playing in the first part of that song is the first song is just it caught my eye right away because it was like, huh, I like that. Like it just was so mesmerizing. The sad scenes you get hit hard because of that music.
That's a
That's
great
what
one.
true
Yeah, it
film
doesn't get
Giacchino.
In and Out doesn't get enough love. That one ranks in my top 2 or 3 Pixar's.
Yeah, it's such a great one. I like 2 as well. I think 2 is great. I think 2 hit me harder than 1. But because of the whole anxiety situation, things like that, there's a lot of things that hit harder in that film than the first one does. But both of them are just phenomenal films. Um, I also have the Lord of the Rings franchise. Like I said, I can't choose one over the other. Another one that I feel is slept on did win an Oscar, but a lot of people tend to forget about it is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh,
This is
sure.
its score is just phenomenal. Great storytelling. I just fall in love with it. I have Parasite on here. I think that was one of my big things when we reviewed the movie with John back in March. Talking about Parasite was that score. That score hit, and you knew there were scenes going on during certain songs. And some of the songs are great. Silence of the Lambs made my list.
Oh, yeah.
Another
That
great
I
score.
considered that one, but yeah, great one.
Batman Begins made my list. This was another hard one. That's why I went back and forth between Batman and Under the Red Hood on which one I wanted, and I went Under the Red Hood because I feel like Batman Begins. A lot of their songs are memorable, but I don't feel like it tells that unique story like Under the Red Hood did. Cinderella Man made my list as an honorable. Another Thomas Newman film, just a great movie. And the last one I have, we talked about this on our comic book one too, The Rocketeer.
Oh,
Like I
yeah.
can't sit here and not talk about James Horner's Rocketeer,
Yeah.
but it
The
just
main
was
theme
one.
in that is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I think Pat, have you ever seen The Rocketeer?
I don't think I have now.
Okay,
I guarantee
yeah,
you've heard the theme because it's been used in a ton of trailers and other things. It is so
yeah,
memorable.
yeah,
I'm
it
also
is.
gonna look for. I'm gonna get some slanted heads at this one, but I've never seen Requiem for a Dream either. I've been that's been
No,
on my list. That's been
I
on my
don't
list.
I don't think
I don't
that
think
one
you're
is
gonna get
worthy of
hard
slanted
as much as
heads.
I'll get
No.
with Back to the Future,
Okay.
so don't
Well,
worry
That
no,
about
movie
it.
because
that
I
movie
hear
is
a lot of good. I hear a lot because you were just bringing up the whole how there's a piece from that
Oh,
movie that
sure.
gets
Yeah.
used in a lot of trailers, and I think that's why I was correlating it. But
Sure.
yeah, that's just one I haven't. I hear a lot about. I hear that it's a really messed up movie, but I hear a lot of people talk about it. So it's been on my list. I have like a little
I,
list on my phone. I keep.
yeah, you got to be in the right mindset for it. I always tell people that it's the writer couldn't figure or the writer director couldn't figure out why the movie wasn't working in his mind when he was trying to
Mhm.
write it out, and he realized that it's a typical movie inverted because the hero of the movie is addiction, and addiction always wins usually. So it's like
Got
he
it.
couldn't figure. So you got to be in the right mindset going in that this is if you imagine a movie where the hero of the movie is addiction, that's what you're getting. That's the movie.
Okay. Isn't Marlon Wayans in it?
He is. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's when I saw the cast for and I saw Marlon Wayans. I was like, what? Like, don't be a menace to South Central, Marlon Wayans. Because that's a favorite of mine. Anyway,
Let's go to our number ones. John, lead us off with your number one pick.
I mean, I told you at the beginning that John Williams is the man in this category, and so I had to save him for the number one spot. Picking the one movie is tricky for me, but it made Patty B's honorable mentions. Of course, it's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take for my money, you can even take the Indiana Jones theme, which is obviously iconic, out. And the other score themes are still so damn strong. The real creepy intensity of the arc The Ark has its own theme song, and when that plays, it's freaky, man. It is the stuff of nightmares in the way that he weaves it in.
But
Marion
like,
has her own theme, and it's wonderfully
oh
melodic,
yeah,
and it has this tragedy when she's dead, and then this jovial kind of upbeat element when she's alive. And her scene with Belloc has a fun, playful music to it. But for me, the best musical sequence in the whole movie is just him putting a piece of a stick into the damn ground and a little light shining through this jewel. It's like it's all just done with music, and the music builds, and it's such intensity, and you're like, oh my god, what is and it's just riveting. And again, a million little scores. The truck chase, of course, fantastic. All of these things heightened by just really good musical skill. And yeah, I any one of those songs works, and then they're all top tier music, and then you add Indiana Jones's theme on top of that, and it's a home run. It's a home run all the way.
like I agree with you. Like I feel like this might get me a hot take. I will put Raiders of the Lost Ark or anything with Indiana Jones over Star Wars. That
Oh,
to me,
100%.
that score is phenomenal for Raiders of the Lost Ark. That if you want to talk about a movie that talks music and tells the story, that is perfectly
Right.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And
That
here's the bigger shot against Star Wars that people don't realize is Indiana Jones. If you took out the Indiana Jones theme, would be a very good score, but it wouldn't make this list.
yeah,
Star Wars doesn't have the Imperial March in it, gang. It doesn't. It does not have Darth Vader's theme. That was in the second film that they
Yeah.
finally came up with that amazing, which is ultimately like a better song than any of the ones in the first movie. And I can't imagine Star Wars now without the Imperial March, right?
Yep.
So I didn't include Star Wars because I can't include it in good faith without that song. You'd have to go with Empire, which has all those other songs plus the Imperial March, right?
But I think another good point too, like you said too, Star Wars is known for certain songs. They are not really known for a storytelling method. It's you get certain songs like we talked about the overrated, according to what you've told me in the past, John, Duel of the Fates. You have the Battle of the Heroes, but they're only really known for certain songs. They
I
are
like
really
the love. I really like the Star Wars that love song. The dun
Anakin
dun 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 dun
um,
dun dun dun
Across the
dun
Stars.
dun dun dun. Yeah, dude,
Across the
that's a
Stars.
great one.
But like
I
even
mean, you got
Raiders of the Lost.
that. I think it's in the first one. The dun 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 dun. Oh, the fourth one. Dun 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 dun.
Oh, I was like, I thought you were singing working on the railroad.
But lately,
Look, Brandon, we're not here for our musical chops, right? We're
It's
here
for
for our movie
nursery
knowledge.
rhymes.
I'm
Okay.
trying to make it make sense. All right.
I'm just messing with you. But again, John, I agree with you 110%. The Ark song is like, don't you open that effing thing.
Oh my
Like
god!
it
When
is
it
just literally
burns through the outside of the crate, and of course when they open it and all the ghosts come out, it only works because of the music. It only hits strong because of the songs.
I remember as a kid when I watched that and they said, close your eyes. I'm like, I'm doing it. Like, come on,
No,
get a
I'm doing it. Yeah. Dude, the ride at Disneyland freaked me out when I was a kid.
yeah, it
When the
bombs.
ball rolls towards you, man.
Yeah.
They had a giant snake. I think
Oh,
they still got that at Disneyland, right?
yeah, they do.
Yeah, but you're worrying me that you said you wrote it as a kid because I was like a full adult when that ride came out.
Yeah.
I was like definitely an adult when that ride came out.
I think I went to Disneyland the first time like in 99, 2000.
Okay.
So
That's a great ride. Like it's one of my favorites at Disneyland.
and it's
so good.
almost I think it's pretty close to Pirates of the Caribbean.
It is, yeah. I mean, so I'm less than an hour from Disneyland, so I've been going my whole life.
So jealous.
Patty B, take us with your number one.
Now, my number one is a movie that I fell in love with once I got older and I was able to really appreciate the story. And I think an important part of it is the realism within the story and how like this could be an everyday life type of situation. Or I mean, and I think that's a trend for the director's movies that I'm about to mention. But I'm going for my number one. I'm going with Rolf Kent's Sideways from 2003.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can see that.
I this is just such a re-listenable track soundtrack to me, man. It's so fun. It morphs a lot, from the same songs, have a lot of the same songs in the movie have a lot of different tones throughout the movie, and the way he transitions that with how the characters feel and how the story is going, it's just absolutely it's just incredible. The movie alone is incredible. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, I think. Uh, Mike Paul Giamatti's character, Miles, I think this is Thomas Hayden Church's best movie ever. Uh, them together is so good. I think the whole aspect of their characters, Jack, played by Thomas Hayden Church, is about to get married, and his friend Miles is an eighth grade English teacher who's trying to get a book published, and he's also kind of like a wine connoisseur. And he's taking his friend up for like basically kind of like their bachelor party and their college, best friends and whatnot. Um, and it just unfolds into this wild adventure from there. And I just think the music really gives you that feeling of the setting that they're in.
Mhm.
I just, when they get up to wine country, uh, when Miles is starting to fall in love with Virginia Madsen's character, it's so good. I want to say this too, as Rolf Kent's also done a lot of I love Alexander Payne's movies. The Holdovers was fantastic. I'm also a big About Schmidt fan. I think that movie for Jack Nicholson's career is kind of lost in the shuffle as well. I think he got nominated for an Oscar for that movie,
He
if I'm
did.
not.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Which rightfully so. Election is fantastic too. But I think out of all of Alexander Payne's movies, I do think Sideways has the best score. Like I say, it's got like this very jazzy feel to it. I mean, just from the opening, I love that throughout the movie, it tells you like what day they're on. So it's like Friday, and then the movie kicks off with the whole utility worker banging on Miles, hotel or his apartment, and like, hey, you got to move your car. He's like, it's just, dude, Paul Giamatti. This is probably Paul Giamatti's best movie. I would say one of his, at least in his top five. Like,
That's why I say I don't know if I put him as his best movie. I still hold The Holdovers as his best movie.
I
I
do
like
think
him.
with this movie though, Brandon, I think you have to watch it a little bit more, I think, to understand the characters because
I agree. I've sat down and watched it recently and actually
yeah,
enjoyed the film. And this I would put it in a top 5 of his, but I don't
mm,
know if I could put it like at 1 or 2.
I
Like
got
to me, I will always put Holdovers up there and I will put Cinderella Man up there.
I was
I
gonna say Big
enjoy
Mama's
both of them.
House.
I even put Saving the No, I
Big
actually
Fat
put
Liar.
even yeah, that too.
Dude, don't, bro,
You
don't
give me
even, because I
props.
actually might
Number
put that in my top
Big
five.
Fat Liar would be in my top 5 for him.
I'm an
But
American Splendor fan. Like American
yes,
Splendor
that is a
ranks
great
number
film.
one for me, but then for me, Sideways is right under it, and I think it's a great underrated pick
The
for this kind of category because the music seems very simple, but it's got a lot of layers to it, and it's got a
It
lot
does.
of things that it's doing for the characters, and then it sort of becomes more mature as the movie goes along. It's very simple and light and kind of goofy at the beginning, but gains emotional weight as the movie goes
Yes,
on.
it does. And then by the end of it, like, I mean, even that whole, because I mean, we're like the last 15 minutes gets really down for Miles' character.
Oh yeah.
And, after going to the wedding and everything, he finds his ex-wife is pregnant with her new husband. So, and then I love that whole reconnection of when he was talking about that, that rarest bottle of wine that he has, the 61 Cheval or whatever, the Cheval Blanc he has. He's like, oh, I'm saving it for a special occasion. And then at the end, you see him at like this diner and he's
Yeah.
pouring it into a styrofoam cup, just drinking it. Like that's where we're at with Miles by the end of this movie. But then also like at the end when he gets to his apartment, he turns on his answering machine and Virginia Madsen's character, finally leaves him that voicemail because there was a big rift in the friendship and everything. And I mean everyone's got just got and when that hasn't watched this movie needs to watch it.
Yeah.
I
You
think
told me to watch it, and I enjoyed it.
it's such an incredible movie, man, and like I said, I think the more for me, the more you watch it, and that's I think why I fell in love with it more and more every time I watched it, is because you learn something from for each character every time you watch it. Like, I fell in love with Jack's character. I love Jack's character. He's such a scumbag, but he's so good. It's like, he's like, "I ran through an ostrich farm." Like, it's like, "That's 5 clicks, Jackson." He's like, "Hell yeah, yeah, it is."
Um,
And the whole golf scene, like,
Yeah. Or when they crash the car at the end.
yeah,
That's so
or he
great.
crashed the car at
It's
the
going
end.
right towards the tree and then
Like, he's like, "Hey, what does it look like happened?" He's like, "Looks like you're in a really bad car accident." And he goes, "Huh." And then it kinda, like, veers away from like, another 10 minutes go by and you figure
yeah.
out what his scheme was. It's like, oh my god, it's so funny.
so to end out the podcast, I go over my number one. Both of you guys should know what my number one is because I got Pat to do it, and it made my number one on comic book films. Um, it is Road to Perdition. That's why I kind of gave a hint when I said Cinderella Man being one of my honorable mentions. I said another Thomas Newman soundtrack. But this is, again, we talked about iconic duos, director and composer duos. This is another great duo that's very slept on, Sam Mendes and Thomas Newman. Both there's like he's done that. He's done American Beauty. He did 1917. Like
Mhm.
all the scores that Sam Mendes has done. He even did Skyfall, if I'm not mistaken. Like great scores from Thomas Newman. Like Thomas Newman, I have never found a soundtrack that I don't like of his. Even Finding Nemo, even though Finding Nemo is not one of my favorite Pixar films, another great score though. The score is phenomenal. But Road to Perdition, this is a story. This is one of my favorite Tom Hanks movies of all time. Very slept on film, Tom Hanks, compared to some of his other movies. But it is this like one of the songs that stand out to me the most, and it's probably one of the more popular songs of the movie, is the song when they're driving to Chicago, and the song is literally called Road to Chicago. And it's during that whole scene, or I think Pat and we've talked about this scene too, is when they kind of like exit out a little bit where you're just seeing the car drive on this just bare road with nobody on it to go to Chicago, and having that song play with the piano, everything in it is it's just phenomenal. Another scene that stands out to me with music in this is um the piano playing when the machine gun's going off at the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
That scene is
And I love
so,
that they cut out the audio. Like, they cut
yeah,
out
it
the
cuts out
audio
everything.
completely, and they just play the music over it, and it's just
That
I'm
scene
glad it
because
was you.
yeah, Paul Newman being the one that had that line, and the only machine gun noise you heard was him shooting him off. Like, phenomenal. Him marching down the hallway to go shoot the son. Phenomenal. Like, the score is great at telling the story. Road to Perdition, the song at the end is phenomenal. Having that emotional feel, even after, spoiler alert for a movie that came out 20 years where Tom Hanks' character did die, that song that plays after is just it's so beautifully well done because it kind of sums up what that whole movie was about. Yeah, it was about revenge, about his family being killed and all that, but it was also like a way of like, now I can have peace. Now I've done everything I can to make a good life for not only myself but for my son. And it's such a great story. Like even the tense scenes, like even McGuire's scenes, Jude Law's scenes, and just that little wittiness of his score or his theme song, just every time you hear it, you start like kind
He's
of
so
like little.
creepy in that movie, man.
Oh, he is, and he does it perfectly. Like I think the only person I didn't like in the film, just because I didn't feel like it fit his way he acts, is Daniel Craig. But I feel like that came more later on that I noticed how he actually can become a better actor compared to when he was then. Um, I think with what he was given, I thought he was great. Him and Paul
Yeah, I don't think
Newman.
he's actually that bad in the movie. I think he's perfect for what his role's supposed to be. He's supposed to be the that rich kid that get
The rich
everything's
mountain
handed to him.
spoiled.
Yeah, like,
He's a spoiled, rotten kid. And he's
that's
jealous
You're
of.
supposed to hate him, right?
Yeah, like he's jealous of Sullivan because Sullivan is the one that's been taking up what he feels he's owed. and Sullivan's given all this because Sullivan's trusted. It's just a really good story. This is a really good soundtrack. I have no gripes for this. This is always on repeat for me. It's just a really good soundtrack. So yeah, Road to Perdition made my number one. Um, but I think this is a great way to head out. First off, we want to thank John for coming on and talking all scores with us, all movies. John, tell the fans where they can find you.
Yeah, if you search John's Comics with, whether you do want kids or friends, you should be able to find me. In fact, that's it. That is what it is on Instagram. I couldn't even fit any more than that. So it's just John's Comics with on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. I appreciate you guys having me on here. I love talking movies, and you guys know your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you always coming on. We always have great conversations with you. Fans, please go check out his channel. Please go check out, follow, subscribe. You can check us out, J4F Podcast, on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Also, check us out on Spotify and YouTube. If you like this content and you want more of it, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit that bell notification so you never miss an episode. Comment also below what your top 5 scores are. We want to hear that in the comments. Without further ado, I turn it over to Patty B to take us out.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything. I'm glad we were able to tackle this topic. This was a long-awaited episode, I think, for us and this podcast. So I'm glad we got it done. John, always a pleasure having you on, buddy. I'm glad we got to do this with you. B-Dawg, thank you as always. And remember, we do it just for flicks.